You are listening to an exclusive on Pod Hub Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base.
McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. He is out. The Buccos win. That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to NS9 Live. I am your host, Anthony DiNardo. Not with me right now, if you're watching the stream, is Tyler, our co-host. Tyler just set me up with the okie doke. I thought he was back and he said, give me one more second. However, I just started the stream. But welcome, everyone. How you guys doing? So tonight is an off night. Obviously, there's no game to talk about right away. So what we figured we'd do is just kind of talk a little bit about the season up to this point with you guys. Hey, there's Tyler. So as I was telling everyone is I actually started the stream when you came back right before you said 1 second. So
all right, cool.
Yeah, but here's Tyler. But I was telling them, you know, there's obviously an off game tonight, so obviously there's nothing to really talk about as far as post game or anything. So we're kind of like recap the season, just talk about our off season off night thoughts. As you can see, Jim's not with us. That is because he is in Fort Myers, probably pretty drunk right now.
Oh, we might get a drunk talk with Jim Rosati tonight.
I know, right?
Fortunately, it's not happening.
Not tonight. He's trying to play it smart. He's not setting himself up.
What a loser.
I know, right? Honestly, though, he's probably not the loser. He's the one in Fort Myers right now, having fun, and we're talking about the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Fair point. You know what? We'll just extract that from the record. We don't need to speak about that.
There it is. But yeah, and also for anyone in the stream, got questions, let us know. We'll talk about it. But I guess we'll start off just in regards to, I guess we can speak a little bit about last night's game. JT Brubaker pitched. They went up against Yu Darvish. I mean, I'll put it this way. It was a close game still. It seems like this entire two series, right? The 7 games that the Pirates and Padres played, all of them been close. I mean, for the big bad Padres to come into town and for us to come into San Diego, they've been competitive. It's like the Padres just can't play against the Pirates.
Yeah. That's really the big thing about the Pirates right now is they're actually being competitive, but we're kind of getting to a point where the competitiveness is wearing off and we're going to have a bad stretch. It is what it is. They're not a good team. We all knew it. The fact that they were able to fool anyone into thinking they could come close to 500 means something good happened.
Right.
But in regards to JT Brubaker, you got to love what you've seen from him so far, right? I mean, what's there to not like?
Nothing really, especially for JT Brubaker.
Yeah, you know what there's not to like is that he's 28 years old.
Yeah. That's the one thing. It's like I wish he was 24.
Right.
Because
I mean,
not to say he's not in the future, but
he's not really in the future.
He could be. Just because like the years of control and such. And maybe that's something we could be talking about as well.
Yeah.
It's not something that I've really, really thought about, but it is something I did pop into my head today about him. I mean, I don't know. Like, is JT Brubaker a potential trade chip at any point? And like, maybe not this trade deadline. I would say it's out the window, unless there's some unbelievable return for it. But I don't think that we would see that for him. But it's like,
no, probably not this year. But I mean, he's pitching better than Joe Musgrove did here. And everyone seemed to, well, on the Pirates end, people seem to love the return. Not everyone, but I mean, like you said, are we looking at a potential trade chip, maybe year 2, year 3? And if not, then you have a back end starter that That's the difference, though, is that, he's a ceiling of a 4.5. Musgrove had a ceiling.
That's true. But I don't know. I mean, it's still just 6 starts. I mean, this is super early, and it's
Right.
not as if it's not like last year really proved that there's something to him.
Mhm.
And maybe eating my words a little bit too on JT Brubaker for the year, because what I mean by that is when the Tyler Andersons was signed, when the God, what's his
Cahill.
name?
Cahill.
Yeah, Cahill was signed. Then there was thoughts like who's in this rotation, and I was really saying that. I mean, Brubaker might be the odd man out. I saw Brubaker more as a potential really good reliever. Again, getting
Mhm.
back to like our cool days, although Cool's killed me. I felt
No.
Cool could be a really, really good reliever, but you're going to keep him as a starter to see. And that's how I kind of felt about Brubaker. Is I feel Brubaker could be a really good reliever, but you're going to keep him in the bullpen or the rotation to see what he can do and such. He's proven me absolutely incorrect at this point. I mean, it's stupid. I look completely stupid to say that. He looks
No, I
like he
mean,
belongs at this point.
he does. I mean, and it's not dumb luck. We're not looking at a Trevor Williams where we're putting up a 3.11 ERA based upon weak contact.
Yeah, like an 091
No, I mean,
Babbitt.
yeah, he's getting the swing and miss. The stuff plays. I mean,
Yes.
he's a major league pitcher.
He utilizes basically 5 pitches.
Yeah, I mean,
three mostly, but he uses
we're not-
5. He mixes them in almost like Musgrove to that degree. He doesn't have like this stuff like Musgrove,
right.
right? And when you looked at Musgrove, the other things that there was stuff that stood out. It's like, wow, like he could really, really become something. Whereas Brubaker, like he got that bulldog mentality. He doesn't have the stuff to really carry him, but he knows how to use what he has and effectively.
Yeah. I guess they call it, he has that pitch ability. He goes after guys, like you said. He's got that bulldog mentality.
I know you love that, Tyler.
I absolutely love that.
Brubaker is definitely a Tyler
if you
guy.
if you could put that mind in Mitch Keller's head, we'd be set. But I mean, Brubaker just goes after you. He does not care if you hit it, and his stuff will play enough to be able to get you some outs. He doesn't have anything that's going to blow you away, but it's also not. We're not talking about a guy sitting low 90s,
right?
Like he's got average major league stuff.
Like you said, like it's not like Trevor Williams, where like Williams had to hit his spots. He's not that low on the scale as far as what he has, right? His repertoire. His stuff plays. I mean, he can spin the ball as well. Like he does have some pretty good pitches. It's not Joe Musgrove. Like you don't look at his slider and go, holy hell, right? But he's got a good, mix of stuff, and he knows how to use it. I mean, J2 Brubaker has impressed me full this year. Again, I'm not going on to me he's the ace of the staff for the Pirates.
Which I mean,
you said 4 or 5. I mean, numbers are arbitrary to me. Also,
they are.
But
as I should have said, I mean, I think he settles into ceiling wise. I think he's like maybe a 2 WAR starting pitcher, which is probably in that range, maybe 2.5.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's probably about ceiling wise.
And that's fair. I mean, to me, he looks like he can definitely belong in a rotation for almost any rotation at this point.
Absolutely.
So, and that's what I talked about. I mean, he is 28, but also just 28. And I guess what I mean by that is it's not like the decline's coming for him in like 2 years, and he doesn't have like a ton of innings under his belt, which unfortunately a lot of it is because of injury and such. But, he has years of control. Like theoretically, you could keep him here and you could ride him out into like that next, like he could become that veteran in this next wave. He could be that guy.
Yeah, and I can't think of anyone I'm trying to think of someone he reminds me of, and I just got no one in the recent years of the Pirates. Like they don't have a dude that just like hung around with like average stuff.
Yeah, they had a dude that hung around as below average. His name was Jeff Locke. But I don't.
Yeah.
So far, at least, I don't look at Brubaker like a Jeff Locke type. I don't look at this like his first half All-Star appearance, and then he's just going to fall off, right? Like I don't.
He's
think
not
we're
out here
be
dancing through raindrops, walking 5, striking out 5,
right. Like I don't see like in 2 years we look back and say, well, we looked really, really silly talking about JT Brubaker.
No, I think you don't get that swing and miss without like having real stuff. Like, you're a major leaguer.
So that's a good point.
You're a capable major leaguer.
So, and again, like, so that's the one side about JT Brubaker is maybe they just let him ride out. I mean, of course, they can play the arbitration game, and when he has 2 years left, they trade or whatever. But again, it kind of brings up. I mean, what? I don't know. What if like he has some people knocking on the door saying, hey, we like JT Brubaker as well. That's less
I
likely.
just don't see. Yeah, I don't see people
even
banging
like
on that door right now.
I feel like probably not.
He needs to show that he can continue to do this for a year or two.
Yeah, that's the one with you too. Like I do. I wish the one downside of him is that I do wish he was like 24, 25, and not 28. Unfortunately.
Narder, we just talked about his stuff that looks like it plays in the majors. I know you guys probably touched on it in Starbucks, but I did not get the opportunity. How about our guy Will Crow just touching 97?
You know what? We didn't talk about Will Crow, I think, on Starbucks.
You did not?
No. If we did, not much. I need to see
because what he showed plays at this level.
But what he showed, like, just happened out of nowhere.
It did.
For this one game. And that's the thing. So,
but it's also one of those things where how many pitchers just go, screw it, I'm going to throw harder now. Who cares?
But even like, so his start against the Cardinals, that didn't happen. His start in the Cardinals, I recall, because I put this out there, it was what, 90? He averaged like 93 point something miles per hour, which is a little bit higher than like what his season was in 2020. There's a little bit of time. So like it's a little bit of an uptick, but that's still nothing crazy, right? But then out of nowhere, Tyler, the guy he was averaging 95.9, I think, right? That's what it was, 95.9. Yeah. And he was touching 97. Did he hit 98 at all? I don't think.
I don't think he did.
So 97 he touched. Averaging like 95, 96. And it came out of nowhere for this one game. So it's like, is that now Will Crow? Was he kind of like holding back a little bit? Or was he just like, I'm going balls to the wall right now?
Yeah, it's a weird question because like we've seen it with Charlie Morton and Chad Cole where they were just like, I just said I was going to try to throw harder, and they threw harder.
Yeah.
Like, has Will Crow been going, just I'm going to touch this spot? Is he a nibbler that's trying to hit his locations and then just decided, you know what, screw it, I throw hard, I'm going to throw hard? Or was he just feeling great that day? I'd be very interested to see like his next appearance, whatever that might be.
And I believe he's getting one. Chad Cole did pitch a side session. I forget how many or what, but he pitched a side session the other day. I know he's on the way back, but I do believe that they mentioned or something like that Will Crow probably is going to get another start. But I'm with you. So Will Crow to me is just like he's been a guy.
That he's a guy.
But think about this. Let's go back. And I'm not saying this means anything, but let's go back. We did have Tim Williams on here. Tim Williams did say, I mean, he did say, I don't know specifically to the, like, I'm not going to quote him, but I'll say to the sense that he believed there's more to Will Crow than what he has shown.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know specifically what he meant by that in his sense of everything. I don't know if he knew that he could throw 97 that's coming or what, but he felt there's a little more to Will Crow. And whatever. It's kind of how I felt about it. I don't know, Tim.
Right.
And now he's throwing 97 on top of all that. So I need to see more of him. But again, that's something that intrigues me. I want to see.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I could care less about really seeing Will Crow.
Right.
Now I do want to see more.
2 weeks ago, he wasn't a bullpen option if he cannot make it as a starter. Now you throw 97. Now you can go in the bullpen. The off-speed played a little bit.
Yeah.
Now we don't have to worry about having a 4-pitch mix. Now we go 1-2 and we see what happens. I mean, you're still 26 years old. It's hard to not like what Ben Cherington's done. I don't want to talk too soon about it, but it's hard to not like it.
You are correct. If it's all premature. All this is premature. We are still, it's May 6th. For the minor leagues, it's the third night that they're playing, like all this is premature. But I'm absolutely with you in this sense of, to the knowledge that we have to this day, I am actually very satisfied with Ben Cherington. very satisfied. And I question a lot of stuff. I don't know about this. It's okay. A lot of these trades, it's okay. It's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not how I was thinking of it, but I think part of it too is the fact that we didn't have the minors last year. So we didn't really have the same information either to go off of it. So I think that might have been part of it also. But just hearing the reports, hearing what other people, right? Other like Fangraphs, like Baseball America, other people in baseball, insiders are talking about, to then see the spring, to see, now we do have some minor leagues. I can't say there's much I can be negative about so far with Sherrington. You're absolutely correct.
Yeah, I mean, even just coaching staff down, the approaches at the major league level, the fact that they've been able to make some of these guys look like competent players every now and then.
Right.
Because it's a group of misfits.
Yeah, well.
And they've somehow put together approaches mainly at the plate, or jury's out on pitching every now and then. But I mean, they've put together some ideas that are working. They've put the right people in place. So far, it looks like maybe. But like you said early, we'll see. But it's more encouraging than it was 2 years ago.
And think about this aspect. So, Peguero has cracked the top 100 now.
Mm-hmm.
It's 3 games. I'm not going to base none of this information is coming from the 3 games. Which, by the way, if we're talking about Peguero, he also once again is. We're not going to talk about these 3 games. However, in third game, Peguero is now 2 for 4, batting .385 with 2 home runs and now also 2 stolen bases on the year. Yeah, I love what I see so far. But again, not even taking an effect of these 3 games. Just what you've been hearing, seeing the potential of these guys. I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot. Like what I talked about, we did speak on Starbucks, is with the Tyone trade, right? We had some questions on it. Some guys looked like throw in here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It's super early and on. Like you can't dictate who's going to be who, and these guys are going to be good. But what I said is, you can legitimately get excited for all 4 players right now, all 4 of them, and that's with the Jameson Tyone trade. What I said there was, I think a good return was 1 guy that you can absolutely get excited for, and 3 guys that you just feel, well, they got low ceilings, they'll probably hit the majors, but this guy, look out for him. I honestly look at all 4 players in that Tyone trade, and I'm excited to see all 4 of them where they can go.
I mean, you look at what Contreras struck out 11.
That's what brought it up. Like he was the one, like Jim said too. Like, he was just like, I don't know.
Mean, yeah. What's Endy? What's the catcher?
Endy Rodriguez from the Mets.
Yeah. I remember our group text that I was the one saying I'd take Lucchesi.
We all were like, why not keep him?
Because I was like, then I can flip Lucchesi. And now look at Lucchesi.
He's terrible.
He's gone after all these guys that are like lottery tickets. But they're real lottery tickets, and they're not like a, I can't even think of the last Neil Huntington trade. I've tried to erase that entire thing from my memory, but, we're hoping to get a bunch of Josh Harrisons out of it, basically. He was the third piece.
Yeah. But I think...
okay, I'm sorry. We're hoping to get an O'Neal Cruz.
That's fair. I would say the thing about Josh Harrison was I felt he was just more like, who cares about him? And then he kind of snuck up on us.
Yeah, it's an
I don't feel like anyone was
where,
ever excited about Josh Harrison. We're now
like, you see a 6'7" shortstop that can hit nukes, and you're like, and he looks like crap at the plate, but we'll take him.
Right. Like,
let's see what happens.
Yeah, I'm excited about O'Neal Cruz. Let's watch that. Josh Harrison, I didn't really care for until he came to major. I'm like, wow, like where'd Josh Harrison come from? But
I was talking more result wise.
No, I get that.
Wins that.
But I think these are all guys that have legit shots to become top prospects. we'll find out. Like, I don't know the ceilings of these guys. I'm not saying that, these pitchers and these players are going to be like, aces and such. But
I mean, do you get a couple of these guys to turn into back end relievers? Like you're making out like you're the fourth piece in the deal. If they turn into a back end reliever, they're not Michael Feliz.
True, right. Well, what I'm getting at too is like the thing is, there's so many of these guys right now.
Right.
Like every deal was like 4 or 5 players. That's what I'm getting at. Like all 4 or 5 players are intriguing. And I know they're not all going to pan out, but there's a ton of them. And we're going to get a number 1 draft pick this year. And I'm not sure if it's going to be Lawler or whom it's going to be. It could be a pitcher too. Like you're going to have a whole crop of players. So like you're saying, like you can only have 5 in the rotation, of course. We don't know. I mean, there's potential trade chips as well. Like at that point in time, you're going to need to compete. Maybe you're trading for a veteran as well or whatever. I mean, this is giving them a lot of options. And again, we're not out here trying to tout and say, oh, it's been 3 games. These are all Hall of Famers. These are all going to hit. They're not all going to hit. But what I am impressed on is more than any, like these are all for the most part, very intriguing guys. Yeah. None of them right now for the most part I'm just like, eh.
And just a thought. It seemed like the intriguing guys that Neil Huntington went after were in the draft. Like he went after that projectable arm that he could find. Sherrington so far, it seems like in trades he's been going after those projectable type of guys. And in the draft, at least based upon one pick, he's going like a Nick Gonzalez. Like we're going a Nick Gonzalez is a dude. I can't even say a safer route. He's just a dude.
I know.
But like we're not drafting the 6'8" Tyler Glasnows or Nick Kinghams or guys that can fill into their bodies and never worked out because the Pirates had a terrible philosophy, but whatever.
I still don't want to so much crown that draft because to me it was weird. And it's still like Nick Gonzalez, regardless, fell into Sherrington's lap.
Yeah, but he's a dude.
Also, it was like
at least it didn't draft Mark Appel again, who's coming back to the majors.
He's making a comeback. I know, right?
Yeah,
the Pirates went after him.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like I know what you're getting at. I don't know how he's going to draft and continue to draft. And this year, having the number 1 pick, I mean, it's cool to have the number 1 pick. He's definitely got some. I don't want to be him this year, especially how everyone's looking and the options he has and choices. But again, it's like I have a hard time overly praising him for the Nick Gonzalez trade. Because to me, it was almost like the rest of the teams gave you no choice. Like,
yeah, but he didn't draft Cole Tucker.
For the Marlins, taking Max Meyer and everything. Nick Gonzalez kind of fell to that degree to the Pirates. And at a point in time, like, I mean, how do you not take him? So, I mean, he took him though. So, I mean, you can't say it was bad. He did take him at least. But
I mean, there's been some dudes that Neil Huntington's been like, give me that very lanky shortstop that can't hit worth a shit.
The guy that's in AAA that has 2 hits tonight as well.
Yeah, sure. For infield singles.
He got a triple and a single and a stolen base. And that's Cole Tucker.
I'm happy for him. Seems like a nice guy. Vanessa ain't going to Indianapolis to watch her play.
Jealous of him.
She is not going out there to watch that guy
according
play.
To her IG, she is clearly still in California.
Yeah. Like Pittsburgh is enough. She is not going to Indianapolis to watch him play a minor league game with 300 people.
That doesn't fit her lifestyle?
No.
Hollywood.
She's going over to Zac Efron's house.
Don't make him cry. But anyways, so to the prospect talk back there, yes. I mean, I'm very, to this point, I am very pleased with Sherrington. There's still a lot to see. I mean, this is our first year of the minor league, so I really can't call it until the end of this year to see what these guys really are. But based on everything we've heard and to the point of what we have seen, I am very pleased with Sherrington.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at every single trade we made so far, I think at the start of it, it was, yeah, I guess that's okay. And then it builds and builds and builds. And at least to this point. Like, go back to Marte. You look at Peguero. I can't remember who else was with it. It was like, yeah, I mean,
Malone.
that's a fine. Yeah.
Who? That's the thing too. Like, we're not even talking about him anymore because of how many players. You know, I mean, he was intriguing.
Yeah, he was. What, a comp pick or a second rounder?
I think. Yeah, one of the two.
But regardless, it was.
But he was the next. He was the next best high school pitcher, right? Like there was some talks either between him or Priester, right? Was it that year?
Probably.
It was either like him or Priester
that
they were talking about.
That would have been that year.
So now we got both of them.
But like that return was, it's okay. I mean, it's a fine return. No complaints. Might be a little light, but and now look at us. Marte's on like his 18th team since then.
Well, Marte's a dude still. Marte's still a dude.
He is.
But regardless, less of Marte.
He could be a dude here and they're not good.
No, right. But I think right. Like you're correct. But right now, how are we talking about Peguero? Before
much more favorably.
Young, there's tools, there's this and that, and now without the year, obviously we couldn't see it happen, which really sucks. That's why I'm so happy that minor league is back. But now what we're talking about Peguero is now he's sliding in the top 100. Like other people are talking about him, and so far just a little bit of results we have. Like, damn, this guy's a dude.
Yeah, we're not talking about Colin Moran.
And he's a shortstop.
We're not talking about Colin Moran being like, yeah. I like what changes he made. He might be a like 20 homer guy, and no defense.
I mean, the potential.
Where's the rest of it?
The potential, right, of Nick Gonzalez at second base, I'm sure, and Peguero at short is very intriguing. I mean, that's middle. Nice. That's middle infield. This isn't the days of. I don't even want to talk about it. But J. Hay Mercer, which J. Hay was a bit of a dude too. But it wasn't like J. Hay Mercer,
J. Hay just
Adam Frazier, Newman. Like the middle infield has never been super
Jacoby
impressive.
Jones.
No, Jacoby Jones is right.
I'm sorry, we got hyped about Jacoby Jones potentially playing shortstop.
No, that says a lot.
And Connor Joe. Alan Hansen,
that's what I was gonna say. That's there's one. But think about like the middle infield of the Pirates. Like that's always been a need, like almost for forever. It's always been middle infield. Yeah. There's not much there, and now there's a plethora of options. Now, not all of them are good. I mean, Cole Tucker's still there as an option. Kevin Newman's still there as an option. But when you're looking at like this really next wave. There's a really, really good chance that, Peguero and Nick Gonzalez is highlighting that. And those are really good options so far. Like the potential they bring as far as all their tools combined. I mean, we could have a middle infielders that can actually hit. Right?
I mean, it's
David
idea,
would actually appreciate both of these guys.
Like, it's an intriguing idea to just get a bunch of guys that play up the middle. And then when they can't play at that level up the middle, they're going to be able to play outside of that.
Which is potentially what, like O'Neill Cruz can bring.
Yeah, that's exactly
in that.
Yeah.
He's also in that. Although I feel less confident he'll stay there, but you got to consider, O'Neill Cruz is in that middle infield as well.
He's going to be a right fielder,
right, or a DH. I don't know. He's got. He's absolutely
maybe a first baseman.
He'll be in the field somewhere.
Will Craig.
But yeah, like think about Peguero's glove is good. I mean, Nick Gonzalez sliding the second. We saw what he was doing with Jumpin' Jack Flash over there. He has nothing but praise for him. So if Brian Hayes is here, I mean, you're looking at a good defense potentially, good offense potentially. In all three of those positions. We still haven't maybe found our first baseman yet. Maybe Martin.
You know what?
But whatever.
At the end of the day,
whatever.
They've got a bunch of guys that have shown so far to their point in their career they can hit the baseball. You find a position for them and move from there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's basically Josh Bell.
Yeah. Or, I mean...
Could he play first base? No. Could he play right field? No. But he could hit when he wasn't crazy.
But I feel, too, like if So what's good for the Pirates, for a team that can't spend money, right? A player that you can find that can play competent and give you production on a cheaper end is first base. Like we talk about, about Moran, like do extend or whatever. Like a CJ Crone, like you can get the CJ Crones for like $6, $7, $8 million year over year out. Whereas you're going to find that in a shortstop, that's not going to happen. So it's like that's the thing. Like the Pirates have wisely, and it might not be on purpose. Obviously, you're just getting the best in return, But they do have a plethora of options in the middle. So yeah, like that helps them out. Like if first base is going to be the position of need and corner outfielders, then good. You can find those for cheap.
Do they have a future catcher? God, no.
Likely not, unless Endy is it. We don't know about him, but there's also definitely a hole there.
But I mean, that's one of those other. That's similar to the first base where on a defensive-minded guy there, it holds his weight at the plate, and if the rest of the positions hold up, you're fine.
True. Like I would, Stallings can be on. I mean, it's all roster construction, but Stallings can be on a contending team, and it's not like
you're getting so far ahead of everything, but it's fun.
Yes,
it's like I'm playing MLB The Show.
I know, right? We're going to be like the year 2027 in a second here. Okay, let's reel this back then. So I guess this is our talk on Cherington, our thoughts, right? So let's divert it a little bit to Shelton. Let me preface it in saying this. So I know Jim, and I do believe you, and I say this because I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Oh yeah, I trashed him.
Last year, we weren't impressed by Cherington, by Shelton at all. It was the opposite of Cherington we're saying now. For everything that we're saying so far, I'm pleased about Cherington. It was the complete opposite about Shelton. It's like, man, I don't know if this guy's going to last. I'll give him a pass because it's like his rookie season as far as a manager, but there were so many decisions that you just were left wondering. 2021. Early report card, right? A progress report on Derek Shelton. What do you think about him this year?
So last year, there were quite a few times where I felt like Derek Shelton did not put his team in the best position to win at all.
Right.
And I also felt like by doing that, he was on his way to lose the clubhouse easily.
Mm-hmm.
So I will give him credit this year. I think he has walked that tightrope because there is a tightrope that needs to be walked about. Are we going to develop these guys? Because it's a young roster. There are certain guys that need developed, but we also have guys that need to be able to put in positions that we can deal them. And this is all coming top down. We all know how it goes. But we also have these guys that need to be faced with a little bit of adversity.
Right.
And I think we talked about it earlier about Bednar facing Tatis Jr., 2 outs, up by 1, correct?
I think it was 1. It might have been. No, it had to been 1.
Final score is 2-1. I don't remember score then.
It had to be 2-1.
But you have a runner on second, 2 outs, Fernando Tatis Jr. coming to the plate, Bednar on the mound. Any competent manager on a winning team is going to walk him.
Right. First base is open.
And I absolutely love the fact that he did not walk him. Because at some point, you got to find out that is Bednar going to be a dude or is he not? What's he going to do right now?
Yeah.
And I absolutely love that. And he's had a few moments like that where it's been, I got to test these guys. I got to put them in a position that might not get us a win, but I'm also going to test out and see, are they going to be parts of this future?
Right. So, and I guess like my take on that too, like you said, you were really happy. Like in the moment, I questioned, like in that moment, I was just like, wait a minute, like what are they doing here? You could win this ball game. And it's not as if Tatis Jr. has, which is weird. I mean, again, he falls in that Padres thing. He hasn't looked good against the Pirates all year either. But like you said, it's Tatis Jr. Like it's the face. He's on the cover of MLB The Show. There's a reason for that, and he's facing Bednar, who in that Musgrove trade we looked at and said, all right, again, guys that you talk about what we thought of the trade, and now he's one of those as well. And now we're like, oh man, Bednar could be a future closer. So at that moment, the same thing. I'm like, walk him. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? But he comes in after the game, the post game comments, or someone said, because I guess it's really not a true post game. Someone said how more or less he said, like, no, he wanted him to pitch him.
Yeah.
And now to your point. So in-game
I want to see what this guy does now.
That doesn't make sense. But for a progression, for Bednar himself, for his development, like, I'm trusting you. So I'm Bednar, and I know that first base is open, and I'm thinking, all right, here comes the sign. Let's walk him. And you tell me don't. So I get that little bit of confidence. I get to face Tatis Jr. and also the outcome of it was good. So that helps,
Oh, that helps absolutely.
And now, so I'm gaining confidence. That can definitely help him out. That progresses and right. So as the progression part, he has a little bit of a different role. He's out there to win games. And to take this back too. So last year, this is how bad Shelton was, as you mentioned. This is why he was very critical. We were very critical on him. People thought they were actively tanking. Think about that. The only reason this move is made is to tank. So when Miguel Pozo was put in how many times these situations, Miguel Pozo isn't part of that future. No one ever looked at Miguel Pozo and said, let's see what he can do right now and face Tatis Jr. because he's going to need this when he's here in 2023. No, these were terrible decisions. The Bednar one makes sense in the development part. So like you're saying, there hasn't been a whole lot of, to me, bonehead decisions that were made. There's been some things.
Listen, Donato, if Bednar does not get him out, people are absolutely dogging him.
Yeah.
If they cared about this team, they would be dogging him.
You're right. But the difference is it's Bednar and not Del Pozo and their situation. See, and I guess when Brian, right, Raise the Jolly Roger was on here with Jim and I the one time, we kind of talked about this too. And so last year we gave him a pass for being a rookie manager. This year too, to a degree on some stuff, I might give a pass as well because what's different this year is complete management on all the pitchers. The situation might be to keep this guy in or do this or whatever, but I think there's never been a year where you want to be more ultra conservative on arms and innings and stuff than this year. So that's why I think this year too, there's going to be moments where you might say, what are you doing? But it's you look at the big picture and it's well, you know what? It might just be what it is. And there isn't a real reason to win this year. So you're not going to extend you're not going to have Joe Musgrove go pitch a complete game, perfect game, for the Pirates.
No.
You're not going to push that. There's no reason to. Not that anyone's going to pitch a perfect game, but you know what I'm saying? There's no reason to really push this. Wins don't really matter. That's the ultimate goal. A lot of it really is progression. And so understanding why Shelton did that with Bednar, I like it. There's going to be some things, but ultimately big picture, I've been pleased.
Yeah, and it's going to be, it's a balance though of I don't know, say we go in extra innings, we get a runner on second and some Phillip Evans is up. Sure. Are we going to bunt him over and Todd Frazier's head behind him so he can hit a sac fly?
Yeah.
That's different. If that's the situation, then I'm going to tell him do that. Go after the win. But if we're talking about a Brian Hayes up with a runner on second in extra innings, I want to see the guy bat. I want to see what he does in this situation. Is he going to try to hit the ball oppo, give the guy the best chance to at least get to third? There's a bunch of situations within it that need to be handled differently based upon who the player is. And it's got to be a challenge, but it's something this guy's got to be able to do, or else they picked the wrong guy.
Right. And the other thing too I want to bring up is, and part of this was last year, but I feel at least by name and what you thought of the player at that time, the team was better last year than this year. Josh Bell's proven that he's not that good of a player, but when it was June of 2020, you thought he was. Okay. So with that all being said, like the other thing about this team as well is it's not as if like he has a whole lot of toys to play with or options.
No.
Like we're you might say, you might be talking about Bednar or whomever, but it's not there's a whole really there's not many options out there they can use, and like
I mean, hell,
so part of
like
it
even
too
a Sam
is-
Howard though, like let that guy let that guy eat.
True. But like what I'm getting at is some things that there's been a couple times where like, why wouldn't you pinch hit here? Or actually Will Crow. Like why did Will Crow bat and then you took him out even pitched next inning? Like why didn't you pinch hit for him? All they said was Will Crow.
That one I don't know.
Will Crow apparently, unbeknownst to me, Will Crow is their best hitting pitcher.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, that one
I don't know why you don't pinch hit.
I don't know why he did that.
So I'm confused on that. Like lineups, there's been times like why is Kevin Newman batting fifth or why is this that? But again, like big picture, well, who else do you really have there?
Part of the thing I haven't hated is that Hurdle drove me crazy when we had like a young lefty Polanco that every freaking time we faced the lefty, he'd put him on the bench or hit him eighth. And he just wouldn't let the guy Moran as well.
Yeah.
Just guys like any lefty. It was lefty's on the mound, you're either on the bench. Like they wouldn't let the guy just hit through it and they'd put some mediocre righty in instead, like a Sean Rodriguez. Just let the poor guy hit. He's not that much worse. Development still does matter.
So
like
a slight pivot here. Comran's still on the team. Like, do you think has that helped Comran? Like he is batting every day. He's seeing everybody. And actually he's doing fairly well.
Really do think that makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like you can't this is gonna go real deep into my mind that I really do think Clint Hurdle had a big part of Gregory Polanco not developing.
Yeah.
Because he screwed with him so much. And part of it's Polanco has a lot of quirks as well, but
I mean,
just with the swing, and he's a giraffe out there, but
a lot of the ownership does come on him. Absolutely.
But I don't think Hurdle helped him very much. Because we looked at the first 3 years of him going from he would hit leadoff, then a lefty would come in, he'd either be on the bench or hit eighth. And that was also a different time, though. Like they were contending, and you don't have time to let a guy develop.
That's true. And that's also part of the difference. Like the stuff about Cheney, that's why he does get these passes and such. I mean, it is a year where you're going to find stuff out. So let's find it out. It might not be the best decision like in-game strategy-wise, right? If it were the Padres-Dodgers series, some of these things wouldn't be happening, I'm sure. But this is a development year. Let's find out what these guys can do. Let's put them in these situations. Like I want to see Bednar, to be honest, right? Like it makes sense to walk Tatis Jr. there, but I want to see Bednar go after him and see the outcome and find out what knowledge we gain and have him go through that process today, then do it for the first time in 2023, 2024, whatever, right? When we're in the playoffs. So you want to give these guys those options. So like, again, like, yes, there's going to be some times where it doesn't make sense, but you can understand it. And that's why I feel like we've had a better recognition of that this year than last year, because I don't think there was many options where you can look at it and say, well, there's also the development part. Every time Miguel Del Pozo was in that game, it was just
Miguel Del Pozo
a terrible
is just
decision.
He is the biggest punching bag ever.
I mean, I do feel bad in a sense, but it just is what it is. It is what it is. And, it's not even just him, but there was just a lot of when people are actually thinking that a team is actively tanking, you're doing a terrible job. And with that being said, I haven't seen the same type of comments even around the fan base or people this year. There's the joke, oh, he's going to be the tank commander. He's the tank commander, right? But I don't think like it's actually shown, oh, they're definitely tanking because they just did X, Y, Z.
No, like I said, I think he's walking a fine line of development / let's screw it. Let's tank.
Right.
Like, he's so far, I mean, what are we? 28 games in, 29, 30?
29? 29.
29 games in, yeah. We're
30.
not
Wait, are
that
we
deep.
13 and 17? I think we're 13 and
I don't-
17.
It's not
I mean, I
when you're
have
bad.
it
You don't
here.
remember it.
I have it here. I actually just updated for the show in our ticker. We are the Pirates, 13 and 17. So yes, 30 games.
You had to wait for it to go back across.
So 30 games in.
13 and 17? Good Lord. How'd they pull that off? Because they suck.
Well, it's
Like, look at that roster and say they don't suck.
it's they've shown these past few weeks, as mentioned, why some people who said that they could lose 100 games, why they felt that way.
Yeah. Have you seen Kai Tom hit?
Actually, no, I have not.
Nor have I. I ignore
I've
it.
seen him walk though. I've seen him
That's when I look at
get
my
thrown
phone.
out on the base pass and not catch the balls in the outfield.
Yeah,
So
that
let's
guy
transition
sucks.
here from that. So obviously Tom's injured.
Thank
you
God
know,
he sucks.
And this I kind of feel bad for as well. So like Hunter Owen like makes his debut because of it. He gets up there and he gets injured. Like that's your recollection. That's your memory of getting called up to the big leagues. You get up there
So
and now
just pain me with who's next.
it's likely that he's going to head on the aisle. Not that I'm saying like Hunter Owen's the next
Just
man up and I'm excited,
do it.
but what this turns into with this injury, so Indianapolis Indians were to play today, and their lineup was Anthony Alford, and then no longer their lineup is Anthony Alford. So it makes me believe, I know it's an off night tonight. Does this mean Hunter Owen is possibly headed to the IL and Anthony Alford is coming back to Pittsburgh? So this carousel, it's no longer Tom. We're back now. Well, I guess it is still Tom. But Anthony Alford is also going to be on this team. So
Why?
I mean, this outfield is a mess.
Why?
It's bad.
Why is he gotta be on this team?
We're not going to talk about Alford. Okay, so everyone's listening. I promise this isn't about Alford, so you can continue. Okay, don't turn us off yet.
God.
What this is going to transition to is Swaggerty. Okay,
Love him.
so because it makes sense right now, Alford gets called up. I mean, could Swaggerty get called up right now? Theoretically, yes, he could, right? But to me, the AAA promotion was kind of aggressive. He hasn't technically seen anything above high A officially. Now, obviously, just with these 3 games, he's off to a pretty nice start. What in your mind is the path for Swaggerty to hit the majors? When do you think is a true timeline of Travis Swaggerty in PNC Park? So that way, I either win or lose the over and under of 40 games as a Pirate.
We all know I have talked about Travis Swaggerty for God knows how long.
Yes.
I love every adjustment he's made. But in reality, like, I think we're actually looking at maybe like July, because there is absolutely no reason to call him up right now. Why burn service time to go play for a not great team when you have not played AAA ball? We've got a new swing that we've been working out. Really, you haven't played ball in over a year. So there's absolutely no reason. I guess I will gladly watch Anthony Alford play the outfield, as much as it pains me to say it. But like July, yeah, let's get him the hell out of here and bring up my guy.
So I'm going to present a scenario. Okay. Now, obviously, this is like best case scenario, right?
Alfred gets hurt.
No, not that cynical, but okay. So what you're saying, I mean, it does make a whole lot of sense. Like it makes sense to have for his development, and there's no need truly to have him here in that sense. Like we're going to play the service time game, get all that. I get that. Right.
Yeah.
Give him his at bats and then give him the PNC Park. But this outfield, especially center field situation, is
Sucks.
so pathetic. That there's so far what we've seen, and I know it's young out of Tom, technically. We can at least give him his due process. I mean, Fowler got his, right? Alfred got his. At least we can give Tom his as well to a degree. But what we've seen out of all this is these guys do not belong, period. Period.
They
Period.
all stink.
Period. All right. Oliva is injured, so he's no longer an option either. Now we get Hunter Owen, right? He's probably headed to the IL now as well, so he no longer becomes an outfield option. Swaggerty is in AAA, and I'm not gonna say for some reason, but for this reason, right in this scenario, Swaggerty is also tearing up AAA. We're a month in. We don't even give him to July, right? We're a month in. Swaggerty's batting 300 plus, looks capable. Our outfield, our center field now as a team is at a negative 1.5 WAR through June, right? That's how pathetic it's been. Is there a potential that we see Swaggerty like even a month from now? That
No.
And I even say this too because we don't really know what Charrington is, although he's been kind of aggressive in some scenarios we've seen. Is it?
He's
you know
aggressive.
what? Swaggerty, let's put you in Pittsburgh. See what you got now.
So he's been aggressive, but he hasn't been aggressive advancing to the major league level.
But we haven't really had.
We have not, but that's also when the payday comes in.
True.
And that's also kind of above his head. So if he's tearing up AAA in the month, no, we won't. It'll be a month and 2 weeks probably.
Where they did the Austin Meadows, where they brought him up,
yeah,
and then the month they just set him down.
I don't.
At the All-Star break. At the that's the perfect scenario. I see the creative teams now, right? The All-Star breaks. It's not going to be the games. They just send players down to catch up on some of their service time.
Yeah,
and then call them back.
Well,
up
we
later.
want to keep them playing through this break.
Exactly right for for Swaggerty's development. We still want him to play. So during this All-Star break, we're going to send him down. We're going to collect about
tell him not to
10 more days of service time on our favor.
And then, I mean, he's got to travel here, so that's another 2 days.
Exactly. A little COVID, right? He can't just come up immediately.
No,
so.
yeah, I mean, we're looking at 2 weeks.
Right. Perfect.
Is he vaccinated? I don't think so.
If he is, screw it. We don't believe you.
I mean, I think he's feeling a little ill.
Yeah.
But,
ooh, there's a cough.
Regardless, I don't know what the service time cutoff is this year. Everything's weird, Leonardo. I don't know anymore.
Yeah. So I guess that scenario, even if he's just tearing it up a month from now, and again, right, this center field just looks pathetic. Tom ain't it.
But he's also like 24.
I don't know who's it. Still no Swaggerty. You fully believe the earliest he'll be here is July, unless just injuries force him here.
I don't even know if he gets here with injuries.
Well, I mean, if there's literally nobody.
I mean, we are talking about a guy that just changed his swing.
Yeah.
So you can't just shove him up here and be like, all right, figure it out up here now. Have fun.
Okay. Fair enough. That's why I wanted to bring it up to you. You're definitely, you have been the highest on Swagger of all of us. As I told Jim,
I'm high on him, but
I'm ready to change my whole thinking. I was closer to the side of writing him off as a prospect than believing that he's going to be an impact player in the major leagues.
Yeah, I think it's when you're looking at a guy that's just changed his swing, you got to hold off on it maybe just a month, make sure everything's working, and kind of go from there. You can't let him revert just because he goes up too early.
So 310 home runs by June 4th. 15 home runs by June. Come on, Tyler. Give me a reason to bring him up in June. I don't want to see Alfred anymore.
I don't either, but I mean, I'd just throw Cool Tucker up there for fun.
I mean, I would rather see Cole Tucker, to be honest.
I'm with you.
Because if I see Cole Tucker on my TV, That means I'm probably also seeing Vanessa Hudgens on TV. So,
But baseball related, that means at least there's a slight, and it is as small as can be, hope that this guy could maybe turn into some type of hitter.
and regardless
Probably
of that, he to this point I'm not gonna say has a future, but he's in the future plans. Alfred really isn't.
No, Alfred's part
So
of no
I would,
future
yes,
plans.
I still would rather see Tucker here because it's not as if we need him to be in the future for all the reasons we talked about earlier, but he has that potential. You know, he's young enough. He's been in the organization.
Yeah.
I would rather see him than anyone because at least I'm watching potential future guy. We can figure this out early and move forward.
Yeah. We all know he stinks, but we all might be wrong.
I mean, he's got 2 hits tonight and it's still on base. So I mean,
Yeah, he stinks.
he's got the juice now. Let him go. He's got the juice.
He stinks.
I don't know.
Just let it happen.
Another guy. I
stinks.
hope for. He's a cool dude.
He seems
He's
like
a
a
cool
nice
dude.
enough fella.
He's a guy I would want to root for, but talent wise, I just haven't seen it yet, and I'm going to.
I
bet
can't
that
root for him.
won't. Unfortunately, prove me wrong, Cole.
Prove me wrong too, because I told you a cream puff on your draft day.
All right. So Shelton reports, Charrington reports, a little bit talking swagger to here, prospects and such. Anything else that you wanted to bring up and highlight with so far?
Nope.
No.
Draft Kumar. That's it.
I don't know, man. Like this.
Yeah, I know, but I said draft Kumar like 2 months ago, so I can't go against that.
This.
Do I want lighter now? Yeah.
This is such
Can I say that out
hype,
loud? No.
A hype draft. This is very interesting. This draft come up, and you know what sucks about it is it's now a month further away than normal. So we have one more month to figure out what the hell we're gonna do and have no decision. Like once the draft comes and it happens, you can move forward, right? But now we have a whole other month added that it's like maybe it's gonna be this guy now, or maybe it's gonna be that guy now, or I mean, in the past month, I think our number one pick has changed now potentially 3 times.
Oh, it has. So we have a big draft show.
I mean, do we really need one for the MLB draft?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be 5 minutes.
Get wild.
It's gonna be.
It'll be like our power hour.
We might do it, but once
like,
the Pirates draft,
we can be like Mel Kuypers.
What are we gonna talk about?
I don't know. I'll learn about all these guys.
Nobody cares about all these other guys. It's not like the NFL where people even know. Like, NFL fans know like the 60 guys that are drafted, and the MLB, half the fans don't even know.
We'll figure it out.
Who's like number 3?
Give me a month. I'll figure it out. Oh God, we can get highlights all together. Well, we could.
We could, but I don't know, man. This draft
sounds like a lot of work.
I'm excited for the draft. The Pirates have the number 1 pick. There's good options out there, but I don't want to be making that decision because with the options that are out there and how they've all manipulated and changed and whatever, I don't want to make that decision because there's more odds that it's not going to work out. That another player is going to be the one they should have picked, right? And in 5 years from now, we're going to be hearing it. Charrington, you bum. Why did you pass on Rocker? We told you from day one it's Rocker. Now look at Rocker doing what he's doing in Boston. You let him go to Boston, Charrington.
I told you to draft Rocker.
Right. Or, it's law. It's like, oh, well, you got to go for the pitcher. Go for the pitcher. But now we got, Tatis Jr. all over again and this guy. You passed on the next Tatis Jr. Good job, Charrington. Yeah, I envy the Pirates organization on this number 1 draft pick, but they're in a good situation.
Yep. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think you can go wrong.
I mean, you can, but you just hope they don't.
I think it's very similar to that 11 draft where Rendon, Cole, Bauer.
I don't know if anyone has like the seal.
And then like Tyler Skaggs went like
but it's similar in that sense. There's good options.
They're
they're all good. Not a whole lot of question marks. You know?
right. But that also has to do with them not playing last year.
True. But it's like it's not like they have bust factors, like complete bust factors.
Right.
You know? I
Yep.
can envision all of them like making the majors. For what you see and what they have and stuff, you know. But I don't know if like you're gonna see like a Garrett Cole in either of those
2011.
pictures.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Trevor Bauer, Garrett Cole, Anthony Rendon.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I see.
I mean, that's
But I
what
could be
we're
wrong.
looking at
I
here,
don't evaluate
Dodo.
them. I could be wrong.
That's what we're looking. We're looking at the power pitcher, Garrett Cole, Kumar,
Yeah.
little head case, lighter. I don't know if he's a head case. I don't know about him. Position player. I can't say the
Lawler.
name because, yeah, I can't say that. Rendon. Does he have any health issues? Because Rendon did.
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, damn. I tried.
He's also a shortstop.
Yeah,
Many more
well,
tools than
close
Rendon.
enough.
But
whatever.
I get what you're
Rendon played
saying.
second
I
and
get
third.
what you're saying. I get what you're saying. And theoretically, like now we look back on it, no one would. Maybe Bauer, but Bauer developed. He took time to develop. I mean, it's like the Dodgers are now
He's also a super head
feasting
case.
on it, but the Diamondbacks never did. But it's
No.
like I guess you wouldn't be disappointed and pissed that you took any of those three and not the others. Obviously, Cole
Right.
was the right choice, and he's proven it now. Well, yeah, Cole was more than Rendon.
Don't hate on my guy Rendon.
I'm not hating, but I still do believe that you take the pitcher over the hitter. Like
I
if I could choose Garrett, if I knew what their careers are going to be, either Garrett Cole or Rendon, I'm taking Garrett Cole.
Yeah, well, the Pirates screwed it all up. So,
But either way, it's not as if you got Rendon and you're pissed
Yeah.
that you didn't get Garrett Cole.
right.
So
Yeah.
I hope that's what this is going to be. Like we might looking back and saying, you know what, the other guy was the better pick, but you're still pleased with who the Pirates take. And I hope
Let's all
and
hope
I
so.
feel that's what will happen.
I'm rooting for it.
But you are right, and they're so different.
Yeah.
They're all good in their certain ways, and they're all very, very different. All right, we've rambled too much on this part.
Yeah.
Well, here we go again into 2025. So
That's what we do.
all right, we're out of here. You want to go, Tyler?
Yeah.
All right.
I gotta go to bed. I gotta work.
Well, we'll see you guys later. Pirates play tomorrow. Thank God. Bye-bye.
These are our scouts.